Thinking of playing Iron Cross, man-to-man combat, East Front, 1941-42. As long as there are eligible firing units, a hex may be designated as a target hex any number of times in a player turn, and the enemy units in that hex may be subject to any number of attacks. So it's still the German player turn, but the Russian reaction movement. I just wanted to comment on something quickly in passing. So all of these units have moved during this reaction movement phase. So what we have is I attempted to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stacks. I attempted to move 8 stacks. These 2 stacks, this one where I put the marker on top of it just for my own interest, and this stack over here where I put the movement marker on top as opposed to behind or next to, these 2 stacks failed their performance check. And both of them, I mean, just note, this is an acting leader, and this is and that's an acting leader. So we had 2 acting leader stacks failed their performance check to move. So out of 8 stacks, 6 moved. And that makes me think of something I like about this game, something that I like that comes out, something that I like to see in games at this scale and scope, is that the variability of what's going to happen, the variability of how things are going to transpire, modeling real life. If you absolutely need to have 3 soldiers run over here and do something, you send 5. Or if you absolutely have to get 1 full strength attack, fire attack on this target, plan to do 2 attacks or 3. I like that. So it's just something that you should factor in and just be ready for. I mean, this stack here, I wanted this stack to run out here and start closing the distance here, but they failed their attack. So what happened is they didn't move at all. They're still in the building. And also what happened is I wound up having 1 soldier run out here all on his own in the open, which is the way it is. I should point out here that when I had that force there that's in down state, I had the move forward one. That breaks the observation link between it and the Germans up there. So I removed my little spotted, or my little observation counters, because they're not linked anymore. Some more commentary on opportunity fire over here. So 2 things transpired to note. When these Russians came up to the front side of this hill, first I wanted this rifleman to try to do opportunity fire against this big 6-soldier team here, but they cannot do that because, again, they're up on a hill, but these trees are level 1. When you string it, the line of sight goes through 2 hexes with 4 trees altogether. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this line of sight is blocked. In other words, when this rifleman in his little building there is looking up to try to see the Russians on the hill, the soldier doesn't see them well enough to fire because he's looking through these trees. Also over here, when I earlier had the Germans change to spray fire mode, I wanted, when the Russians finally came up here with their 2 stacks, I wanted the LMG to open up and hit all these targets with half firepower. But that's not allowed because spray fire, it looks to me like spray fire is only for firing at targets that are at the same level. So they're up 1 level. So I think that's interesting. But I'm playing the rules as I understand them, I'm playing rules as written and as I interpret them right now. Spray fire is only for same level fire, so that didn't work. So they're going to have to wait for the Russians to come off the hill. Okay, defensive fire phase. The non-phasing player may attempt to fire any of his normal status units. Units that performed reaction movement and or opportunity fire may not fire. So all of these Russians moved, so they're not eligible for defensive fire. So I'm going to go through a defensive. So these guys moved, but half of these units moved, but half of them did not. So the APL, the assistant platoon leader, who was already here, I'm pulling him to the side. I've got the medium machine gun number 2 down here, and I'm going to announce the attack. The medium machine gun 2 is going to fire at the Germans there on Hill Kilo. So this is, let me double check. Yeah, they're still in direct fire mode. Okay, so that I announced the attack. I determined line of sight. Should be good. I did this before, but I'll do it again. Center dot to center dot. Might as well do the range now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Range of 9. Okay, so that's line of sight. Attempt observation. This is where this is all going to come together. So the terrain they're in is woods with 3 trees. 2 soldiers in down posture, in down state, combat state. All right, observation. So first of all, we know the base observation is woods, which is 9. Yeah, 9. So 9 for observation. Okay, so for every 5 hexes beyond the initial 5, we're only at 9. Doesn't apply. No improved positions. Tree symbol in the target hex. This is in addition to the lower base number for woods, +1. So there are no trees in between, but there are 3 in the hex. So we have +3, which again, pluses are bad. So we have +3. Nothing along the line of sight. No marsh hex. Okay, it is a non-AFE unit in down state, so plus another 1. It's not good. And then finally, the observing unit moved within the last 3 phases. No, they did not. They were already there. Okay, so now we have modifiers favoring the observer. The Russians here trying to observe the Germans up there. Okay, if the target hex was successfully observed, it's not, because it's not marked with my... It's not marked with a... Actually, it would be the Russian color. So it's not marked as having previously been observed. It's not 2 or more levels lower. It's 1 up. If the target hex moved, if any unit in the target hex moved, no. No AFE. The observer is not a commander. Oh. So maybe that's why you want... I was wondering why you wouldn't want the commander involved. This is the assistant platoon leader. I'm not going to change that, but maybe that's why you want the commander involved. That might be how that's supposed to be, but okay. I don't know about that. Target hex says 4 more men. No, it only has 2. Okay, now we get to the firing thing. If it's a non-machine gun unit in the target hex used AP fire within the last 3 phases, that's correct, and that's the 2 there. Because when I count back, we're in phase 5. Go back 4, 3, 2. So basically, they've fired recently enough that the Russians still see the flashes, etc., muzzle flashes, etc. Okay, so that's -2. So +4 goes down to +2. That helps, and that's it. Okay, so roll for observation. I'm going to roll. Ooh, not good. Okay, so 10 + 2 is 12, well over the 9. So the Russians do not observe the Germans there, so it's unobserved fire. Okay. So pick up defensive fire phase again. PCs to fire. This isn't good either because the machine gun here in down combat state has a proficiency rating of 6. Yeah, okay. So they rolled 9, well over the 6 proficiency rating that they needed to get, equal to or under. So they don't fire, but they are marked as if they fired. And do I need to put... Yeah, I do need to put the phase. So they attempted to fire in the 5th phase. Phase number 5. Here. So 5. It's just the machine gun there, not the APL. How do I do this? There's a lot of stuff to... it's kind of a mess. But anyways, that's defensive fire.